Do you feel like it's going to be impossible to get it all done? Do you feel like you aren't doing enough? Do you feel like you're falling behind? Guess what? You're not. Guys, welcome back to Making Everyday Magic. My name is Shauna, and if you are new here, we are a homeschooling family of 4. We're in our 7th year of homeschooling, so I've got some experience with this. And we have a 2nd grader and a 6th grader. Today, I want to talk with you about how working smarter isn't cheating. Guys, before we go any further, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. Just to kind of branch off really fast, this right now, me filming this, is a perfect example of how working smarter isn't cheating. We are into our 5th day of having no internet in our house. I was able to hotspot my computer from my phone in an effort to get my video ready that went up for this week, from like my real life week, not from when I'm filming this week, and get some orders out and things like that. But what I have had to do, because I didn't realize so much of our schoolwork depended on the internet, we are just kind of shell gaming, feng shuiing the entire week around what it had been planned to be. I did not plan to film today, but being that if I don't fit the pieces where I can by the end of the week, it will just have all piled up and be insane. And not to mention, it's one of those weeks where we have something extra every day. So in an effort to not be drowning by Friday and not be under the gun, I'm doing what I can when I can. I am working smarter, and it's not cheating. Was I fully prepared to film today? No, that's why I look like this. But we're gonna make it work, okay? Because it is what it is, and it's how it's gotta be, and we are just gonna love it, and we're gonna keep on rolling, okay? So we're gonna work smarter, and it's not cheating. Okay, now let's bring it on back, bringing it on back. I know that this can be a very, very hard topic among homeschoolers, especially for homeschoolers. The idea that you do not have to do it all. And I don't fully know why this myth or this attitude persists, but I think that it comes back to a need to prove ourselves. And I'm gonna let you in on a big old secret. You don't have to prove yourself. You are not obligated, short of adhering to your state's homeschool laws, to prove what you're doing. You are not under any kind of obligation beyond to your learner, to your homeschool requirements, to show that your homeschooler can juggle 5 balls while on a unicycle jumping through a hoop of fire. We need to let this go. This is a weird and crazy weight that we put on ourselves, that for whatever reason, we have to do every exercise, cover every chapter, learn every topic, spell every word, be able to recite math facts like this, be able to spell every single word you've ever heard absolutely perfectly, be able to write a novel. Guys, you don't have to do that. Working smarter is not cheating. So I'm gonna throw this out there, and I know some people are gonna be like, wait, what? In Michael Clay Thompson, all about spelling, all about reading, Matthew C., there's probably a few more if I stood here and thought about it. Every single one of those curriculums actually encourages you to not do everything included in the curriculum that you receive from them. So many of us think that we must do every problem, every exercise, every chapter, every page that we have paid for, acquired, brought into our home. And you simply do not. You simply do not. You would drown if you try to do it all. And I think a lot of people do try to do it all. And then they can't fathom how this could possibly be a way of life that you could, dare I say, even enjoy. It is okay if you do like we do, where you just learn until they get it. They don't have to memorize every historical fact from here to the beginning of time. They do not have to know the exact dates of the Spanish Inquisition. They don't need these things in their brain. And I hate to break it to you, all of this information will be readily accessible for your kids. I'm not saying they don't need to learn spelling rules or the basics of spelling, but what I am saying is that once they get it, once it clicks, it's okay to move on. It's okay because they're almost always honestly gonna have spell check. Now that comes back to a use of technology. As homeschoolers especially, we delay the use of technology so much further beyond what the public schools do, what their counterparts are doing. And I know that we do this in an effort to, just like we've done with calculator usage for my oldest. You need to know the math that is behind, the reasoning that is behind what you're doing. However, once she understood those things, you still have to know what to put into the calculator. It's okay to use the calculator. And both of my kids had an absolute fit whenever I brought up this idea of using the calculator. Both of them had a very strong opinion that it was cheating. It's not cheating. The calculator doesn't give you the answer. You have to know what to put into it. And shying away from things like calculators, computers, apps, spell check is unreasonable in this day and age. We need to be teaching our children how to harness the powers they have at their disposal, which is technology. It is okay if your kid learns how to spell from an app. Perfect example of this. My kids are learning Spanish via The Cultured Kid and Duolingo. Do you know who's not teaching Spanish? I don't know Spanish. We are working smarter and not harder. We are utilizing apps like Night Zookeeper and recent introduction, just getting started, so I'll keep you posted, of IXL. We are utilizing videos like Crash Course and David over at History for the Ages. I am not trying to reinvent the wheel. My job here isn't to learn all the things so that I can teach my children. I am a curator of all of the things, and that means everything available at my disposal. So that does mean apps, websites, books. What I'm not doing is making my job harder or my kids' job harder because I am requiring them to do it the hard way. Hard doesn't equal good. You can learn something from a game just as well as you can learn something by forced rote memorization. There is no reason to do things the hard way. Is it important to understand perseverance? Sure. Everybody's going to come at me and be like, well, kids need to know how to do things hard. Absolutely. Do you want them associating their education with the idea that all things should be hard? Because I absolutely don't. Do I want to do, just as a natural human inclination, do I want to do things that are really hard for me? No. Do I shut down when things are really hard for me? Yes. Guess what? So does your learner. You do not score higher on an SAT test because you learned your word cards via a physical flashcard or looking them up in the dictionary versus an app that does the same thing or a game that helps you pair it together. You don't learn the definition of words better by open-ended guessing as opposed to matching your available options. We do not have to work harder to be smarter. It simply is not a thing. They are not exclusive, and we do not have to do it to ourselves or to our children. It is so easy to forget this. I am guilty of this. And as we are moving forward into the planning phase for next year, for the 2024-2025 school year, I am trying to remember that I should be working smarter and not harder. If there is a thing that I can group together for my kids, we're doing it. If there is a thing, this year we're doing 3 sciences. Why did I do that to myself? Will I be doing that next year? Nope. No, I will not. No, I will not. Why? Because I need to be working smarter, not harder. And working smarter isn't cheating. Finding ways that you can make your life easier is actually quite brilliant, quite innovative, okay? The lazy people are the ones who are solving the problems for the masses, okay? They're the ones that are finding the shortcuts, the new paths. They're thinking outside of the box. So, does my kid need to rote memorize the nines facts? No. You know why? Because I taught her this thing. Yes, this thing. That's how I remember it. Yeah, because it's easier. Finding the way that allows for your kids to have truly learned it, and I am not talking about drilling it into them where everyone's miserable. If they've got it, by all means, move along, okay? Just move along. If you have a recipe that you cook every single week, how long do you continue to reference that recipe card? You don't. Why? Because you got it. Move on, okay? I want to encourage you to stop this notion, this thought that we have to do it all, that if we don't, we're somehow failing, that they're not going to be as good as Timmy next door. Because it is so important to remember that what we are providing our children in this environment is a tailor-made education. If you have a kid who is naturally gifted in math, by all means, don't make them do every math sheet. They struggle in math, sure, help them out, let them do a little more. But when they excel in language arts, don't make them do every single crazy vocabulary word if they can get it the first time. There's no need for this. Just like once they've mastered their handwriting, you stop doing it, okay? We're moving along. We're trucking on down the line. There's no reason for thinking that you should be working harder. Working smarter isn't cheating. I want you to remember that. No one's done a disservice. Honestly, figure out if your kids have got it or not. They don't got it, keep working it, but once they do, let them move on, okay? If my kid understands a math lesson the very first time she sees it, we move on to the next one. There's no reason to harp on things that are already learned, already known. Just let it go, okay? And that comes back to the control issue that from us parents, us teachers. So you have to really check in with your learners, really gauge where they're at and understand where they're sitting. And they will usually let you know if they feel like they need more practice or if they feel like they've got it. But genuinely allow them to make that decision, okay? If they've really got it and you can tell they've really got it, let's move along. And you guys know one of the other things I don't do is weekly math tests. I don't. We do the unit tests, but there's no reason for me to test them weekly. For math, that's something that whole book I use for the 3 or 4 unit tests in it. That's it. Because there's no point. I can tell if they got it or not. We don't do every math sheet. There's 7 of them every week. We do 4, I think. 4, maybe. And then the unit test. That's it. If we need more practice, we'll do more. But when we don't, we don't. We move along. So don't forget, hard doesn't mean good, okay? It doesn't. Nobody should be suffering through this. Change your approach if that's what you're doing. Guys, I hope that you found any of this helpful, entertaining, or informative. If you did, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find me right on down in the comments or over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic. While you're down there, check in on me. It's been a long time without internet. I feel like pretty soon I'm gonna start staring into the flames like it's a television, doing some cave paintings. I'm gonna naturally know how to darn socks and get some sheeps and chickens. Just, you know what I'm saying. All right, I'm feeling lost. I have so much I need to do, and so much of it requires the internet. It's okay. We're gonna make it. All right, bye guys. One more thing that I wanted to say on this topic is that your kid's education isn't gonna be weighed more heavily because they did more of the worksheets than someone else's, okay? So regardless of what you're doing right now, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to the same factors. It's going to put everybody on the same level playing field. So it's not going to matter who did 15 more worksheets. You got it, you got it. You don't, you don't.